The last words on the stone grave. Today, I will visit my parents' grave before returning to the city. The countryside air at the end of autumn is cool and crisp. And the sunlight gently pours like honey over the rooftop stained with time. I step out of the old house, the place where I grew up. Where I once ran barefoot across the red brick yard. Sat for hours under the eaves watching the rain fall. And silently faced the man I called Father. Yet never once in my life told him I loved him. My childhood lacked no food or clothing. But what it missed most was tenderness. My father was a gruff, stern man who almost never spoke. He rarely scolded me. But every time he looked at me, I felt an entire sky of pressure weighing down on my shoulders. Our family dinners were filled only with the sounds of chewing. And the clinking of spoons against bowls. No one spoke. No one laughed. I was always afraid of him. Afraid of those eyes. Afraid of that dry, steel-cold voice. Afraid of the way he sighed when I didn't score high marks. And the heavy silence he withdrew into every time I made a mistake. My mother was gentle and kind. But she could never bridge the gap between my father and me. I used to dream, just once, of being held by him. Patted on the shoulder. And hearing him say, "I'm proud of you." But that never happened. Instead, there were only cold, cutting words. Not good enough. Failure is due to incompetence. Men must not be weak. And so I grew up not to thrive. But to avoid criticism. I learned to be stronger, more capable. Forcing myself never to cry in front of him. But deep inside, I was always a forgotten child. Yearning for a hug. A word of praise. A sign of recognition. Things I never once received from that man. The path to my parents' grave winds between two rice fields. Wild grasses grow thick on both sides, as if covering all the memories. Birdsong echoes. The wind rustles through the old bamboo. Everything seems to pull me back into the past. I carry a bouquet of white chrysanthemums. My mother's favorite flower. And a handwritten letter. A letter I wrote. Then tore up. Then wrote again through the night. Just to keep a few trembling lines. Father, I came to visit today. Perhaps I finally have the courage to say. The thing I've hidden in my heart my whole life. I knelt before his grave. My head bowed so low. It seemed as if my heart could shatter into 1,000 pieces. With just one more breath. My hands trembled. Not only from the chill of late autumn. But from within. A storm. A storm of unspoken pain. Of irreversible regrets. And a love that was never voiced at the right time. I placed the bouquet on the weathered stone. My eyes stung. My voice choked. As the first words escaped. "I'm sorry, for misunderstanding you for so long." Just a simple apology. But for it to travel from my chest to my lips. It had to cut through a lifetime. Of resentment. Hurt, and silence. I looked up at the endless blue sky. Perhaps that is where he's watching me from. Just as he quietly watched me throughout my life. And I never realized. I took a deep breath. But my tears could no longer be held back. "I forgive you. Anne. I love you." Just 6 words. Yet it took me 65 years to say them. No one hears them now. No one replies. But in that moment, I felt a strange softness. As if someone had gently placed a hand on my shoulder and patted it. So soft. It felt like a passing breeze. But I knew. It was him. His way of loving me. Quiet, clumsy. And deeper than any words could say. I cried like I had never cried before. Not because I lost my father. But because I lost too many years living in misunderstanding. Because of a love that had once been buried under rigidity, fear, and the constraints of an old world he never knew how to break free from. And now, at 65, I, a man who had carried the weight of silence my entire life, have finally laid it down. Right at the place where my father rests, I found forgiveness. For the first time. And also the last. I was truly my father's son.